Hey guys, and welcome to a brand new video. Today's video is going to be another subscriber milestone video, and what the milestone is we have reached 7,500 subscribers. You might be wondering, hey Robin, why didn't you do one for 5,000 or for 4,000? Okay, so what we're going to be talking about today is a little story of mine that actually got mentioned in a comment section, I guess a couple weeks ago. And that is how I failed my biggest flip of my flipping career in my actual life, and not even RuneScape. I would have made, at the current prices, about $500,000 US. Unfortunately, I sold it back in the day for about $200, I believe. And for those who can't guess what that is, this is a story about Bitcoin, and in its infancy, the Bitcoin was worthless, and for any of those who follow it, now it's worth thousands of dollars. So yeah, if you're interested in the story and a little bit of agility on the side, stick around. Otherwise, thank you guys so much for the 7,500 subs. It means a lot, and we're looking like we'll get to 10,000 in the next couple of months, and that is going to be so exciting. Alright, let's get started. So when I originally bought the Bitcoin, it was about January of 2011. I originally bought, it was about 410 Bitcoins. At the time, it was worth about 30 cents US per Bitcoin. And luckily at the time, the Canadian dollar was much stronger as well. So actually that cost me about, well, 125 Canadian. And it would have been 125 US as well, because the economy had been, well, even between Canada and the United States for a couple months at that point. So yeah, I originally bought about 125 dollars worth of coins, which was about 410 Bitcoins. Now, the way you actually got Bitcoins back then, or at least the way I did it, was really convoluted and kind of confusing, but I'll go and explain it for you. So originally, take the money from my bank account into a PayPal account. Most people know how to do that, but from the PayPal account, you'd have to transfer it to a trading platform. Now, the one I used, I believe, was called Verwox. I don't know how you pronounce it, but it was like some V's and some X's. Anyway, from there, you'd get a balance on this trading website. So to get Bitcoin, you couldn't actually trade directly from US dollars to Bitcoin. You had to trade between a second currency first, and the one that was allowed was actually the Second Life currency. It's a video game, a virtual reality video game that has a economy all to its own. So I remember the currency was called SLL, or I had a different name for it, but anyway, it was just the virtual currency of the game. So from there, you would transfer US dollars into SLL currency, and from there, you could transfer it into Bitcoin. So you'd always lose a bit on each transaction, and they would take a service fee, but in the end I ended up with about 410 Bitcoin. So now that I had finally gotten some Bitcoin in a virtual trading platform, then you had to send the Bitcoin to whatever place you wanted. They had different Bitcoin addresses, which looked kind of like hash codes or hexadecimals. They're just really long strings of numbers and letters, and that's where you'd send your Bitcoin back and forth. So unfortunately, the biggest issue with this flip is that I ended up selling the Bitcoin, trading the Bitcoin. I didn't really have much left when it came to the point when it was actually worth hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars. To begin with, I ended up trading a lot of it. I bought some stuff with it, and while I did deposit more money into Bitcoin, all I was really left with were crumbs in different payment processing platforms, Bitcoin exchanges, and Bitcoin wallets. So I didn't really have any Bitcoin left except for ragtag amount in different places. So when it came to about the end of one of my college years, and that was in 2013, I guess, sometime around April, was when Bitcoin really started to take off. Initially in February, March, it was only worth $20 per Bitcoin. And I considered trying to just get it out, just to get a little bit of money left. So I think I may have had, I guess I had about, well, I didn't really, I probably had just a Bitcoin in total, not a whole lot. So eventually, when I came home from school one day, I saw a bunch of news articles that Bitcoin was spiking up to an all-time high. It was worth about 220 US per Bitcoin, which was 10 times the amount it had been even weeks ago, if I recall correctly. So at that point, I did manage to scrape together all my Bitcoin from the multiple different wallets I had. A couple of them wouldn't even let me take it out. So I actually did have probably, one of the payment processors had like 1.2 Bitcoin left in it. Some of them had a little bit more, but they ended up being less than trustworthy and just took everyone's money when the price started spiking. A really popular thing in the early days of Bitcoin was exit scams, and still are, of course, but who's going to give everyone back their money when they probably had millions and millions of dollars worth of people's money? And it's a decentralized currency, so it's even harder to track down where your money is, who owes you money, and whatnot. Anyway, so I did end up managing to trade it back in, got about $200 back in my PayPal, and I thought that was a good day's work. I didn't really need the money, but I wanted the money, and I didn't really think the price was going to keep going back up. And yeah, that was that, I thought. So unfortunately for me, and very fortunately for a lot of other people, Bitcoin continued to rise. It peaked in November of that year at almost $1,000, and then it crashed over the next year or so, and then now it's reached a all-time high back in March of about $1,200. As of today, it is sitting at 1,199 US. I mean, if you take that, multiply it by 410, you're getting about 492,000 US dollars. Take that and convert it to Canadian, and you're getting like 640,000 Canadian. Well, I mean, I probably wouldn't have gotten that much. I mean, there's lots of fees and stuff, but and realistically, my money would have been stolen probably by then. But still, it does upset me some days to think about it, but it's not really upsetting me too much because it was a long time ago. It's not like this happened over the course of a week or two. That Bitcoin had long been spent out of my mind. I thought I got a good deal at it for it at the time. So is there a lesson to be learned here? Not really. I mean, there's no way to really have known that Bitcoin would reach such ludicrously high amounts. I mean, some people became millionaires off of this, and some people got enough money to pay their hydro bill. I mean, it's not like worth worrying about. Yes, I'm salty and butthurt about this, but only when I think about it. It's like when you get those memories of something stupid you did, just in the middle of your day, and then you just feel really shitty and depressed for like 5 seconds, and then it goes away. That's kind of this, and eventually it'll fade from my memory entirely. Alright guys, so I hope you enjoyed the quick little story and the 7,500 sub special. Now, I have one other question for you guys, maybe more what your guys' opinion is on this. I have another idea for another series, but to kind of make room for this series, I would have to change one of the existing ones. Don't worry, I'm not removing any of it. Here's my idea. I was just wondering what you guys would think about it. So what it would be is a GE only series. So it'd start from a brand new account, free to play or pay to play, yet to be determined, and I would train my skills, anything that can be done at the GE. So I mean, buyable skills, flipping, money making, and eventually once I got to a certain total level, I would unlock maybe the Varrock Palace or something like that, where I unlock different zones of things near the Grand Exchange. So maybe at like say 300 total level, I could go into the Varrock Palace. There I could train my magic, or I could train my combat skills, or even the construction building is pretty close by. I mean, there's lots of options, and but it'd still be kind of centralized around the Grand Exchange and money making and flipping, stuff like that. So what I'd be changing, and not actually really changing at all, is the Road to 1 bill. I would keep the name, but the focus would be more on just progressing the account, because honestly that is what it's been for the last 3 or 4 months. The focus hasn't been on increasing my cash tag, it's been on progressing my account. That's what I've been enjoying about that. Still, the end goal would be 1 bill, and I'm still not really going to change much about it, but the focus wouldn't really be in the end on different money making methods, more on progressing my account up to levels where I could PVM for money, or just do late game content to eventually get the 1 bill, as opposed to doing little nifty moneymakers and flipping. Anyway, what do you guys think about that? I would appreciate if you left a comment down below. Thanks for watching all the way through, and really appreciate the 7,500 subs. That's it, guys. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.